Welcome, this is Mohammed Adan. You tuned into the English news on Somaliland National Television. Here are the top stories making today's headlines. Sonyo commemorates the National Youth Day. A responsibilities transfer event takes place at the Ministry of Trade and Investment. Sonyo, the Somaliland National Youth Umbrella, has celebrated in memory of youth members who committed their efforts in creating a civil uprising against the tyranny of the regime that was in power 34 years ago. The event had in attendance a host of various dignitaries, including the Minister of Labour and Social Affairs, Deputy Chairman of Kulmir Party and members of the three national political parties, as well as notable youth figures. It stated the underlying necessity of paying heed to the efforts of youth, who dedicated their lives in struggling for the independence of their nation and that of their fellow citizens. The Minister urged youths to be encouraged in playing a pivotal role in social and economic development of their society. Democratic Deputy Leader of the ruling political party, Kulmir, also provided a keynote speech at the ceremony where he discussed the importance of amplifying the role of youths in the political spectrum, which the current administration allocated as much resources to the policy of elevating youths and empowering them for the good of their nation. Youth members and esteemed guests corroborated the UFO youth members who led a social uprising that ultimately ensued the collapse of tyranny and oppression, with the regime that was at the time committed to making part of its citizens redundant and surplus to requirements. It was in 1982 when the regime of Mohammed Siad Barre massacred youths who turned out in Hargeisa in opposition to the repression and cruelty of the establishment that was long time ruling with brute force. This was a telltale sign that Somaliland youths were able to expose themselves to risk for the good of the country. A nationwide social uprising that followed eventually led to the reclamation of Somaliland's independence. A responsibilities transfer event has taken place at the Ministry of Trade and Investment, where the former minister and his deputy handed over duties to the newly designated minister and vice minister. The event had in attendance governmental and non-governmental figures. The Director General of the Ministry of Trade and Investment, Abdirashid Ahmed, commended the fundamental role former minister and his deputy played in taking the ministerial services forward by amplifying efforts towards improving the qualifications of staff members. Newly designated Minister of Trade and his deputy collectively reiterated that they will be dedicating time and resources to further improving ministerial services for the nation, urging employees to exhibit hard work and dedication. Former Minister of Trade Musa Qasim Umar highlighted the significance of establishing efforts and allocating resources to making sure that citizens have access to improved services. Other dignitaries who spoke at the event expressed hope that the new minister and his deputy will be able to provide their service to Somaliland, since they sought to amplify cooperation with businesses across the nation to foster an environment that is conducive to international investment. A state funeral has been held in Hargeisa for the bodies of several citizens who have been massacred by the regime of Mohammed Siad Barre and buried in mass graves. The bodies of the citizens have now been laid to rest in reference to Islamic Sharia. The chairman of a committee assigned to retrieving atrocities committed against Somaliland citizens in the years between 1982 and 1990 spoke at the event and stated that the bodies discovered in mass graves were belonged to citizens who had been shot dead by the regime forces. Keynote speakers at the event urged citizens to pinpoint any geographical place where they think to be mass graves sheltered by bodies of Somaliland citizens, which if received will be buried according to the Islamic Sharia. That's it for this edition of the English Bulletin. From me and the rest of the team, thanks for watching. Be sure to catch us at the same time tomorrow.